Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be answering your political questions. And I say I am going to be answering, but I am going to be channeling my spirit guides who are here, who I tussle with to get the information out in some sort of recognizable human sentence. But I do want to start off with this. I'm really going to try to do this. The spirit guides were just telling me, because I just looked at one of your questions. One of your questions was about the attack on Russia. There was actually an attack on Russia at a music concert where a few guys pulled up in a car, jumped out, and had guns and had like stun bombs or something like that. Okay. They did, I think some people were unalived, and it was a terrible, terrible event. Now, the question was this really an attack on Russia? Russia is known to do attacks on themselves, which is called a false flag. It's been proven that they've done this in the past. They do this sometimes to control their people, to make their people feel like we really are at war, and therefore we must sacrifice. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's attacking you, then all of a sudden you feel like you really are at war, and you feel like, okay, take my son to the front, or yes, I understand why there's no food in the groceries, right? So Russia has a lot of reasons for doing these things. They are diabolical. They do things that we really couldn't begin to imagine is like normal daily thing for them, is what the spirit guides are saying. Now, this is where I think my brain is going to go on overload, but the spirit guides want to draw a connection to what happened in Russia, to what's happening in Ukraine, to what's happening in the United States with Congress, to what's happening with the royals and everything. If you think I can pull this off, let's start taking bets now. Call your neighbors, put in your bets. You've got like 30 seconds left. Call Vegas. I don't know. The odds are not looking good for me personally. Okay. So I'm going to start with Russia because that was the question. So yes. So they're saying that ISIS took responsibility for this attack. The way they took responsibility for it dovetails with the way ISIS does things. They have a certain, the guys just said I know it's not funny and I'm sorry, but they just said that they put it on their letterhead. For those of us who are old enough to know what letterhead is, we're old. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, there's a way that they communicate that is authenticated. Okay. Now, even though this is authenticated, the guides are saying that's a bunch of bull hockey. The authentication is true. The fact that ISIS has taken responsibility is true. But the guides would say, and this is for entertainment purposes only and allegedly and just an opinion, that Russia had something to do with this, because I'm going to start tying this all together, I hope, because it's a big one. Because Ukraine, because oh boy. So because the United States has not been able to fund Ukraine because of our Republican, I have to edit what I would like to say. It's not a nice word. Anyway, because of the Republicans. Okay. Because of that, we're not sending money to Ukraine. Okay. So now Ukraine is like, I mean, they were left alone on the battlefield, basically. We walked away from them in the middle of a war, and they have to do whatever they have to do. Okay. I really feel like they're just saying we have to survive. Now, why is that matters? Because while America was providing, and I'm sure other countries do this too, but while the United States was providing arms, the United States was also saying you cannot you cannot cross the border. You cannot run across the border and attack them. You can only defend yourself. And the guides always told you guys, it was like Ukraine defending themselves with one arm behind their back, with their left, their non-dominant hand. That's how the United States has asked them to respond to this attack. Because world politics, because of everything, right? So now Ukraine is like, well, you're not giving us any money. We don't have to listen to anything you told us. We're going to send drones and start attacking, and they have. Now, Ukraine has been using these people called partisans, which are people that are of Russian, well, yes, they're of Russian descent. And they're in Russia, and they're attacking Russia because they don't agree with what Russia's doing. So they already have these people kind of working within the Russian cities and the country itself. But now you have Ukraine sending drones into Russia, attacking Russia themselves. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. This elevates everything. That's why maybe you heard about it, maybe you didn't, but Ukraine had a huge attack on them by Russia where they hit all these cities at once. Okay. So that's getting worse. The Ukraine-Russia war is actually getting worse in the absence of cooler heads or the absence of guidance or the absence of help. It's really down to Ukraine has to survive. Okay. Now, why? Now, how does this connect to Russia getting attacked? No, Ukraine did not attack Russia. That is not correct. Wrong answer. Russia attacked Russia because it makes the West nervous that Ukraine is attacking Russia. It makes the West nervous. They don't like it. They would rather it not happen. So now Russia can say, we're getting attacked by Ukraine. We're getting attacked by ISIS. Now we need protection. Where's our protection? Now, let's wrap this up even more. So this is causing more trouble towards the United States. The United States is really getting nervous now. Let's add more logs to this fire. I hope you're keeping track. There is the UN Security Council. The United Nations Security Council has Russia and I think Turkey. Russia and Turkey. But why is Russia on the UN Security Council? Honestly, why? Because they vote down everything. They just want to go to war and they just want to attack people. So that hamstrings everything on top of that. Russia and this other country, I think it's Turkey, but Turkey or Hungary, these two countries voted down the ceasefire for Israel and Palestine. Are you understand the big picture here? Because do you see how this is all sort of swirling together? Okay, because it is. Because it is. Russia does a false flag to make everybody upset so they can go to the Security Council and say, we're being attacked. NATO can't go in and help Ukraine because we're under attack by ISIS. Victim. They're just pulling the Trump card of, I'm a victim. Somebody help me. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a mean person. I'm a victim. It's BS. But this is the card they're playing. Okay. Now, those two countries Deep Six, the ceasefire, voted against it in Israel and Palestine. Those two countries are holding us hostage, honestly. Bullies. We talk a lot about bullies on this channel. Now, let me rope in Congress. Now, Congress, United States Congress. United States Congress is under attack within because, well, we had another person drop out of the Congress. I can't remember their name right now, but Kim Buck was the first one, and now there's another one that just dropped out. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has said, I'm going to call a vote when we get back from our vacation on Speaker Johnson. And we're going to get this all straightened out because we don't like the way he signed off on the spending bill. Okay, now the last piece of this, and if I can pull all this together, I swear to God, it's going to be the Olympics. The last piece of this is the Republicans dropping out. Now, the spirit guides predicted this last year. They literally predicted this at the time frame. Everything is lining up. Chef's kiss. Okay, now the Republicans are dropping out because Trump took over the RNC, the Republican National Committee, and he formed a new entity called the Trump National Committee, TNC, and the TNC gets all monies first and then dribbles down into the RNC. Do you think anything is we already know from Reaganomics, stuff don't dribble down except for caca, right? So you have these Republicans that have been in for a lot. Like, I think the next one that's going to drop is Kay Granger. That's what's being reported, but that's also what the spirit guide just told me. She's from Texas. A lot of these Republicans have been around for a long time. I mean, this is their career. They've been in office many, many years or even decades, and they understand how the game is played. And they've gotten to a certain level of seniority, which means it's very easy to stay in. Once you get to a certain level, it's just easier to continue to be elected. Well, they're leaving because they understand their money is gone. They have no money. The Republican Party is gone. Poof. It's gone. It's just the TNC now. It's just the TNC, and you're not going to get any money. So you're going to see all these Republicans down ballot. Not all, but you're going to see, maybe before the election, you might see 5 more drop out, which leads us to another thing the spirit guides predicted, which was Jeffries becoming Speaker of the House before the election. Also, they predicted that we would take full control of the House before the election. I don't see us having like a big majority, but I see us having a 1 vote to possibly a 2 vote majority. All we need are like 2 more people to leave and then add. So what they said before was, let's say there's 6 elections and we win 4 of them, right? So we're going to be plus 4 more that we didn't have before. So we're not going to win everything, but we're going to be tied or 1 or 2 above. So now how do we tie all this together? It's pressure. It's the universe. I guess I'm going to call it the universe is applying pressure. Now, how are they applying pressure? Well, first of all, with Russia doing this silly stuff, now Europe knows they have to stand together. The guides predicted 2 more countries. They predicted 3, with the last one being Ukraine, but 2 more countries are going to NATO. Ukraine will go into NATO. But I'm telling you right now, a lot of countries are going to be going into NATO. NATO is going to be growing because Europe understands that they cannot count on the United States. They need to be safe. They need to protect each other. So you've seen a big swing in the French. Is it Macron? I don't know who's I'm channeling. I don't know, but the French leader has started to really swing towards Ukraine. The German leader has started to swing even more towards Ukraine. I'm not saying they were anti-Ukraine. I'm saying they were dragging their feet. They really were dragging their feet. And I don't care. That's what the guide said. You can argue what you want, but that's what they said. So this is a wake-up call. This is applying pressure so that we get our act together as humans and we become the adults on the planet and start running this place like a real planet instead of some kind of crazy banana republic planet. Okay? This is not going to go well. The fact that Russia and this other country downvoted the ceasefire, this isn't going to go well. Either they're going to get kicked off the Security Council or else Putin crosses over. It cannot hold. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? It can't hold together like this anymore. It can't. It's going to break apart. And then we're going to get an opportunity to fix it, because once it breaks apart and it's all falling apart everywhere, then we get an opportunity to fix it. The guides are reminding me I didn't loop the royals into this. So the royals, the thing with the royals, and I'm not going to be on here talking about them or talking about gossip. But I am going to talk about it in the sense that it affects the world. First of all, right now, the spirit guides told me that whatever's going on with Princess Catherine and with Prince William and with Prince Harry, the whole royal family, the MI6, where's Downing? Is it 10 Downing or Downing Street? Anyway, something's going down. The insecurity of the royal family makes Britain feel insecure. Why is the royal family insecure? Well, because Charles has cancer. I think he's going to be stepping down within the next 3-4 months. The subsequent King William, his wife has cancer. You guys, she doesn't feel good to me. I'm just going to be honest with you. Her energy, her life force does not feel good to me. Pray for her. I don't care if you like her or not. Just pray for her as one human would to another, because she's really in a tough place. So as all this is going down, and then as this is going down, there's going to be something that comes out about William or about the royal family that could tarnish its reputation. So right now, the royal family really screwed up. I mean, 2 doctored photographs. I mean, come on. this is the pressure on the royal family. The royal family is governing, or whatever they're doing, they're acting like it's 1950 or 1980 or even 1990. It's not. You cannot fake us out anymore. The world is more sophisticated. They don't understand the level of the general public and the sophistication of the general public. So they have pressure. Their pressure is to interact with their own people in a more transparent way, because it's going to be required. End of story. Now, all of this is adding uncertainty and pressure to the royal family in general, which has gotten their intelligence community on edge. I'm just channeling you guys. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. All of this is of the same energy. It's all of the same energy. There's pressure being applied. There's pressure being applied to Russia. There's pressure being applied to Ukraine, to Israel, to Palestine, to the United States, to Britain, and a little bit to Canada. I see. I don't know. Something's going on in Australia, but I don't know what it is. I heard potential scandal. I don't know. I don't think it's a big thing, but it could be something. And then, China is also having a lot of pressure applied on them as well, because Biden is saying, we're going to build our chips right here. Even though it's only 20%, it's 20% China's not getting. Also, the attack, they wanted to use the word attack on TikTok, right? That's a Chinese company, basically. So all this pressure is being applied. All this pressure is being applied to everything. The Republican Party is having pressure to decide who they want to be. Who are you? What are your values? Even the billionaires in America pressure is being applied. Pressure is being applied everywhere. And that's the purpose. That's the reason that all this is happening, because we need to change. And we're not changing. The rules haven't changed. They got to change. This is 2024. You've got a lot of catching up to do. You're going to have to figure out a new way to interact with the public. Russia has to figure out a new way to interact with the world. As NATO grows and gets stronger because of these attacks on Ukraine, and even these attacks in Palestine and Israel, and potentially attacks in Russia, we are going towards a world where, and the guides have said this before, where the country's boundaries are set. No more of this, running over somebody's boundary and taking over their country. That's not going to be acceptable anymore, because the countries are now banding together. Now I'm seeing Taiwan. Now there's a lot of talk about China taking over Taiwan, and there's a lot of talk about Russia taking over Moldova. I mean, there's a lot of talk down in South America of that country that I can't remember its name right now, but they found out it has all these oil resources right off the coast of it. And now I think some country wants to take them over. This is not going to be allowed. We might see one more jigger shaking of the boundaries, but it's not that it's not allowed. It's that there will be more pushback. There's going to be more pushback. You're going to see countries really come together. Like right now, I'm looking even at South America. You're going to see a lot of these South American countries come together and form alliances, because they have to, because you understand that we're not safe without the alliance. Now, does all that make sense? The pressure is being applied to the Republicans. They're dropping out. They're not going to be having the power that they used to have. Russia's going to be pushed out of its power. Orban is going to be pushed out of his power. I'm not saying all this is happening next week, you guys. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when you see all this stuff, it's like a tightening, pressure, until these structures pop, blow up, dissolve. Remember when the spirit guides were saying dissolution? All last year, I was just like, please make it stop. They talked about dissolution all the time. We are here, dissolution of the Republican Party, dissolution of the power centers that might be controlling the UN Security Council, because we are ready to vote for humanity. We're ready for everyone to settle down. We're tired. We've been at war for a long time. Humans have been at war for a long time, one country or another. We're tired. Humans are tired. They keep telling you guys, humans don't want war anymore. They're done with it. They're not going to do it. If Russia wasn't making those men go to the front, with like a bayonet in their back, they wouldn't be doing it. Humans don't want this. So how all that goes together is the pressure on the royals to start interacting more transparently, the pressure on Ukraine to say, hey, I've got to survive here. I don't care. I've got to do what I got to do. I'm going to go attack Russia. That's going to blow this engagement up even more, which is going to put more pressure on Europe, not the United States, because we still got crazy Republicans. Going to put more pressure on Europe, who's realizing, holy shitballs, holy, whatever. We're in big, this is World War III. If we don't do something right now, this is World War III. And I don't see World War III. So what I see is everybody getting together, forming pacts, forming alliances, NATO getting bigger, and frankly, us getting control of the Congress and doing some real pressure. Again, the word is pressure everywhere. Like right now, they just showed me Biden at the State of the Union address when he was in the crowd talking to whoever wanted to talk to him. There was somebody following him with a boom mic, so you could hear him. It wasn't really easily to hear, but you could hear him. And he said, Bibi, I'm about to have a come to Jesus meeting with Bibi. This was back in the State of the Union address, right? And somebody said, sir, that's a hot mic. He said, I don't care. And then somebody else said, yeah, they're over here telling you that you have a fuzzy memory and that you don't know anything. And Biden's response was, some days I really wish I didn't know anything. It was such a heavy moment, of him understanding and trying to tell someone whom he can't share with us what he knows, but clearly the weight of the world is on him. So the pressure is on. So as you see everything happening, I want you to see it in the terms of pressure, of squeezing pressure, because we can't keep operating like this. So we're going to squeeze people until they act right, until they act out of love, they act out of humanity, they give people free will, that the pressure will be applied, is what they just said. So also, as I tell you guys, this is not just on the world stage. This is in your personal life. Obviously, this has a lot to do with the solar and lunar eclipse, which have months and months and months of effects on us. And I think we have another eclipse in October anyway. So we finish this one, we have another one. So pay attention in your own life. Where's pressure being applied? Right? Where are you feeling pressure to work more, to work less, because you're too exhausted and you can't do it anymore? So your body is applying the pressure to work less, while work is applying pressure to work more. The pressure of the cost of things. You guys, our economy is on fire. I know a lot of people who are on, restricted income or set income. It's not on fire for you. Well, it's on fire in a bad way, like a dumpster fire. But everybody else, the economy is on fire. And it's just with Biden, with $6 billion, was it? Billions of dollars that he did of loan. I can't even get a word. Basically, he credited their loan amount of all these teachers. all that money's going to go into the economy now. Now you've got an extra $100, $300, $500 a month. Now you can afford the new couch. Now you can afford the new car. Now you can afford to go on that vacation. It's going to change your life. And it's going to put money back into the economy, which is going to economy to go up, which is probably going to make it hard for the Fed to lower interest rates. And it's going to continue heating up the economy. And that's going to keep prices high. So warning to you guys, the guides told me this yesterday when I was in the grocery store, because I know I have a lot of people who are on Social Security, who are on literally a set income. We've told you guys this before I never understand why. Like when I knew that the Republicans were going to be leaving Congress, I didn't understand why. Well, here's why. Who knew at the time that Trump would take over the Republican National Party? But the advice for you guys is, once again, and so this means the prices are going up. I'm just telling you, because when they tell me this, now I get it. A plus B equals C. When they tell me people need to conserve money, if you have a set income, if you're not out there able to have a side hustle, if you're able to get a side job, now's the time to get a side job. Even if it's 3 to 6 months, even if it's seasonal, get a side job, because I feel like prices are going to go up. And I feel like this could also be a concerted effort among the ruling class, billionaires, corporations, whatever you want to call them, to make Biden look bad before the election. You know, the way they stopped producing gas, they stopped producing oil just before the election, so all the gas prices go up. So here's a warning. Put some money aside. If you're doing well, rock on. But you're going to do better. If you're making money, you're going to make more money. The opportunity is there. If you are in a set income, you really need to conserve. The last thing I'll say, and because they're telling me to say it, and I've told you guys this many times, if you're on a very restricted income, go to the food pantry. I don't care how proud you are. I do not, and you're not taking food from anybody. Please get over yourself. Go to the food pantry, and because that can save you $30 a month or $50 a month. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not because you're out of food. It's because it's going to save you $50 a month. Because if you can go and perhaps go at the end, you know, if you don't want to take food from somebody, be the last person in line. So whatever's left, if there's something there that you need, then you're the last person in line. But what that's going to do is give you a little bit of an emergency fund of $200 or $300. I just feel like you might need it. Okay. There's some food insecurity things going on with like water. Like we may have to buy bottled water because the water gets something wrong with it. I've been getting that message for a year now. It hasn't happened, but I'm just telling you, when these people, these forces, these entities try something and I get a message about it and then it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean the energy goes away. It's like when we predict, oh yeah, there's going to be a government shutdown, and there's not a government shutdown. It doesn't mean necessarily, it means that we were wrong, but it means that the energy didn't go away. It's still there. We predicted it because the energy is still there. And it's like water. It's going to try to find its way. So there's still this energy around, something to do with a water supply, a municipal water supply, but I think it's more than one city or even more than one state. So you could be in a position where you have to buy water, and that's expensive. And that could, you know, if this is what I'm trying to say, you guys, if every month you barely make it, you should be taking some extra steps to conserve. Okay. Because something is going on. I cannot predict it. I can just tell you the energy is there. And if the energy can find its way, if it can manifest, it will. Right? It's like dry kindling it's not going to catch fire. But if there's a lightning storm, it might. And if there's lightning nearby, it probably will. And if lightning hits it, it will. So this is the energy. This is how we read these things. So there's, you know, a storm nearby. There's potential. Okay. So with all of that, I hope that all made sense for you guys. Let me know in the comments if that all made sense. And if you lost any bets. And I know my voice sounds raspy, and I don't know why it does, because I don't think it does in general, although my dog didn't say it sounds raspy, but I'm just going to drink some. This is a really interesting coconut pineapple bubbly. I can't decide if it tastes like chemical or soda. Okay, so let's answer some of your questions really quickly. Um, Pinnacle Pottery says, "What about Jenny Thomas? Will she be held accountable in the Jan 6 insurrection?" I mean, yes, I think you guys, your version of accountable might be behind jail. She might be under the jail, as they say. She does get in trouble, you guys. The guides always use this word besmirched, meaning her reputation has a black mark on it. I don't think she's going to go to jail. I think that and I've seen this many times, but she might be the one that makes Thomas get down off of the bench because the investigation into her looks so damaging that number one and number two, they don't want all that paparazzi. They don't want all those cameras, all that. She doesn't like that. So yes, I think she's going to get in trouble. I don't see her going to jail. There really is two justices, maybe even five different levels of justice. I hate to say it. And we are going to look at this as America and as the world because this is our wound. They were telling me today that basically white people have to feel the fear and the anxiety and the hopelessness and I just don't even, I ran out of adjectives of those whom we've hurt, right? Like I haven't, but it's energy. It's energy. And I think I can begin to feel, I'd be open to feeling that, right? Like what they're showing me is I went to the Holocaust Museum. Now I'm not German. Well, I am German, but anyway, it's several before Germany, before the Nazis. But when I went to the Holocaust Museum in Houston, it rocked me down to my soul. And I think that's what we need. Okay. I think that's what we all need is to bear witness. So wherever you are, go to the slavery, and we really need a slavery museum that's just as powerful as the Holocaust Museum. I mean, really and truly, something that just you can barely stand to subject yourself to it. That's what we need. That's what's going to help us move through this wound energy. Okay. Same thing with Native Americans. Same thing with all of these things. We have to bear witness. But the Holocaust Museum is so visual, and I'm such a visual person, right? When you see all the teeth, when you see all the shoes, I mean, you can barely handle it. So this is what we need. We all need to have penance. Okay. I don't know where that came from, but there it is. And my gift to you. Okay. Darius Jones says, do you see new ways of future voting coming in, like getting rid of the electoral college? Yeah, Darius. The guides were telling me recently that ranked choice voting, and I don't know how, the Susan part of this situation, I don't know how I feel about it. I've talked about it before. Some of you guys have come out in the chat and said, or the comments and said, it's great, but I think it could work for us. Number one. Number two, as far as electoral college, yes, I feel like there's enough Democrats. I'm just looking at the energy. There's enough Democrats in between now and 28. Okay, so we have one more election in 26, which is going to be, mid-year, midterm elections. But the next presidential election is 28. Before 28, we're going to have women's right to choose codified, law of the land. And I think we're going to get rid of the electoral college. Oh my God, is there going to be a hue and cry about that? They are going to freak out. They're going to freak out, y'all, because those states that wield so much power when they shouldn't really wield so much power, they're going to freak out. But I see us doing it. There are senators that are, I guess we needed senators. I don't know, but I see a senator really pushing this. It's gone. But this is, again, the pressure. the pressure is being applied to the Electoral College. The pressure is being applied to our Constitution, our amendments. What really does the First Amendment say? What really does the Second Amendment say? We found all these loopholes. Again, it's just like the Royals. They couldn't imagine how to interact with the public in 2024. And now they're on the wrong foot. And they're having to really catch up in a very quick way. And I'm not sure they want to catch up. And so we have to catch up too. We have to catch up. Our Constitution is outdated. We've got to really get in there and add some amendments. And that's where I think the Electoral College. So I feel like they're going to start talking about this in 25, but I feel like this could go as soon as 26, they're saying, but definitely by 28. Is that going to help us? I mean, it is going to make things, they're saying it's going to make things clearer. Like, I don't know what that means, but it's like the Electoral College muddies up everything or obfuscates things. They're saying it's going to make things clearer. Ranked choice voting too. They're quite about ranked choice voting. Anyway, let me move on. Thank you for your question, Darius. Okay. User is wondering how long before Judge Cannon makes an order that can be appealed does she get removed? I do see her getting removed. I'm not sure if she doesn't step down. Somebody had a really good point. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. It cracks me up. Y'all are like just chatting with each other. I love it. I love it because these are your people. And somebody said, I think she just wants out. Like, I think she just, this is too much, right? Like having to have all the security for her family. Because it's not the Democrats per se, I'm not saying there's not a screw loose somewhere in a Democrat, because there is, but generally speaking, it's the Republicans who have this crazy volatile energy that go after people. So, and if she doesn't rule for Trump, they're going to go after her. So there is some energy around her stepping down. I've always told you guys, she's got a golden parachute. She's going to have a soft landing. So that sort of also, doesn't that also kind of tell you, if you think about those metaphors, parachute means she got ejected. Soft landing means she got ejected. It doesn't mean like she gets up her stuff and walks out of the office. It doesn't mean that. It means that she was, she was shot out. So I think she really could be removed. But I don't know if this happens in 24, you guys. I would just say that everything is in hand. Yes, we're going to be upset about Cannon. We might be upset about somebody bringing money in and saving DJT. But all that withstanding, they're still going down. The Republicans are going down. They can't even fund their offices. They can't fund their candidates. Right now, if you ever wanted to send money to a candidate, a Democratic candidate, or if you ever wanted to run, now is the time to think about it. Because these Republicans we can push them over with a little, blow our breath on them. They're going to be pushed over. And it's not because we have halitosis. It's because they're weak. So now's the time. This is our opportunity, you guys. This is our opportunity. So phone bank, text bank, get out your signs, talk to people. My good friend Cindy was talking to somebody, telling them why they need to vote for Biden. And this person was saying, I'm not voting for anybody, which is my key, which is my thing. That's what Trumpers are going to say. When they don't want to be with Trump anymore, they're going to say, I'm not voting for anybody. I don't know who to vote for because they're all bad. That's when they're a Trumper, and now they're disillusioned. So now you can start talking to them about Social Security. You can start talking to them about rights to abortion. You can start talking about how Biden wanted to pass the most stringent border policy ever. We can start talking to these people. Some of them are now available to sway. Stay away from the crazy ones, because the crazy ones are going to get crazier. The crazy ones the guides are showing me are like a wasp nest that you accidentally smacked with a bat. Who does that? Probably a MAGA person. Anyway, the crazy ones are going to get crazier. But remember, they're smaller. It's a smaller number, but they are more fanatical. The rest of these people, the diaspora of the MAGA, where do they get this stuff? Why do I have these guides? Why can't I get other guides? Do I need other guides? Can I put in for a transfer? Okay. The diaspora of the MAGAs, they're they're winnable. We can win them. I mean, they're not 100% normal, but we can win them. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. Y'all ask a question. The spirit guides take every opportunity to talk about whatever they want to talk about. Have you noticed? Have you noticed? Okay, it's like, no, we want to talk about this. Okay, go right ahead. Then why am I answering people's questions? I just work here, y'all. I just work here. Thank you, Cindy P. Okay, let's move on. Will 45 get the money for bond due next week? Who will help him? I hear Marco Rubio is the top list for 45. What do you think? I don't think Marco. He is on the top list, but just in the sense that Donald Trump likes to play with people. He likes to, he just likes to see if he says your name if you perk up, because that knows. Then he knows he's got you. He's fishing. You bit his lure. Okay. I think he's going to go with that woman. The two people that I've always seen, or the guy that I've always seen, is the guy that just got married, the black guy, for entertainment purposes only, has got to be gay. I'm so sorry. This is like a 58-year-old virgin by his own admission. And now he's getting married all of a sudden. I'm just saying, y'all, something ain't right in Denmark. Okay. I'm just saying. That guy, because he's a sycophant, he's literally better than Mike Pence. He is a sycophant. And he's black. So it's like, you check all these things the Republicans are trying to do to make their party less racist. So the other woman, is it Cinema or Stefanik? I don't know. One of those women that are double crossers. I'm not even going to say what I just heard. Okay. God, I don't know what's going on. Okay. So anyway, so I don't think it really matters, because, again, what I've always seen, and I don't know how we're going to get there. Like, I saw these Republicans stepping down, but I didn't know how we were going to get there. And now we're here, and now we know how we got there. But other thing that I've always seen is Trump not being viable. He's just not viable. I don't know if he crosses over. I don't know if he has a heart attack or a stroke and he's not well enough to run. I don't know if he's locked up. It's one of those things. So his vice president doesn't really matter. And the other thing that doesn't make any sense that I can't figure out, and I've talked to really great psychics in our community. I know Linda G's talked about this. I know that all the great psychics have talked about this. And I don't think anybody's really come up with an answer. We don't see who's going to run on the Republican ticket. It's like the guides told you that time that, when you have a remote control that has battery power and the battery power runs out, then the remote control just goes, that's what I see. All the Republicans just, they're all like laying down because their battery power's out. Now, what they said that like a month or 6 weeks ago, and they said it's because their money ran out. Money is battery power. That's what they said. Now we know why. Now we know why the battery power, AKA the money, is running out, is because Trump is siphoning it all off. Number one, Trump is siphoning it off. And now we also know why Liz Cheney started a super PAC before all this happened. She started a super PAC like a month ago, 3 weeks ago. This is why, because all these billionaires, their interest is to not pay taxes. And it's worth it to them to give somebody millions of dollars because they're going to save billions of dollars. It's a very good return on your money. So Liz Cheney's like, I'll open up my bank account. Here's my bank account. Give me your money. She's starting it. And the guides told you the Republican Party would split in two. And here we have TNC of all things. So yeah, this is the pressure. The pressure is being applied. The party's going to split in two. It's not viable. It's not viable like this. Nothing is viable the way it is. Something has to give. Something has to give for peace in Ukraine. Something has to give for peace in Israel and Palestine. Something has to give for Russia to stop being a bully. Something has to give in America for us to have co-equal rulership, is what the guys just said. Okay, I'm going to move on. What did I answer your question? Will he get the money for the bond next week? I feel like he really might. I do see somebody coming in. So the guy that saved him in his DWAC in his evaluation of Truth Social was the guy, his last name is Yas, I think. He's the TikTok guy. He's the guy that owns a lot of TikTok. And he met with Trump last month, and then Trump changed his mind on TikTok. Before he was against TikTok. So then he came out and said, I'm for it. Y'all remember? That's because this guy Yas met with him. And now Yas has put in the money for and helped this evaluation to go public for his Truth Social. Now, his Truth Social cannot be sold for 6 months. However, he can get a waiver from the board, and guess who's on the board? Don Jr. I mean, all his people are on the board. So yeah, I think he's going to get the money. But here's the thing. Here's the important thing. The important thing is that, because when I said he had a 95% chance of not getting the money, remember my last video said 95% chance he's not going to get the money, because the energy suggested that it was going to fall through. So it's just like we were talking about energy earlier. The energy didn't fall through, but it's still there. The energy of him, it's almost like the energy comes back and smacks him in the face. Have you ever hit something when you're mad and it turns around and hits you back? You're like, damn it. You know what I mean? This is what's going to happen with this money. He's going to get it. And then it's going to turn around and hit him. So that could be that he gets money from an illegal source, or he gets money from a source that is legal but looks bad, or he gets money from a source that falls apart, or what they're showing me right now is the shares. The shares on this thing are going to tank. It's not worth $4 billion or $5 billion or even $1 billion. It's all based on Trump's popularity. It's not like a car. It's not like software. It's really a person, a personality. All of that is based on Trump's personality and his ability to get people to buy into Truth Social. And right now, his popularity is waning. They just showed me all these primaries, right, where people are voting for Nikki Haley, even though she's not running. Like 20% of the vote, 10% of the vote, 18% of the vote is going to Nikki Haley. Is that a protest vote? Yes, but that means that his popularity is waning. So Truth Social is going to wane. And then the whole thing is just going to go down like the Titanic. Him and it, all of it is going to go down like the Titanic. So he may get a reprieve. He may get some money. It's whatever he gets, whatever comes to him ends up being a problem for him. They just said his worst nightmare. Whatever comes to him ends up being his worst nightmare. Like when you really, really, really wanted to date that person, and then you start dating them, and then you were like, golly, this person is psycho crazy. I don't need to say anything more because we all been there. Okay, let's move on. Federalist Society, Equus 333, how you doing? Says Federalist Society, period. Just, that's all we really need to say is Federalist Society. I agree. I understand. Will we be able to disband this? You Citizens United too. Well, we cannot disband it because they have free will. I mean, they're, it's I don't think we can disband it. What we can do is we can marginalize it. The guides are saying we can marginalize it, therefore take its power away. We can make it harder for them to control judges. That's what we can do. We can put in some real stop gaps, the guides are saying, to keep these people from having access to judges, to basically just to keep them from having access to judges, in whatever way that is, through gifts, through money, through intimidation even, right? So this can work a lot of different ways. Another part of how Trump's people do things is through intimidation. They scare people to death so they do what they want them to do. So we need to provide better coverage, better security for these judges. We need to make sure that they feel safe, that they can't be intimidated, also that they can't be bought off, right? So I do think the Federalist Society is going to be marginalized, they're going to be pushed away from the power centers. That's what I see. Citizens United, I think we're going to repeal that or vote that out or change that in some way. I feel like we're going to pass a law. So that was done through SCOTUS, right? Through the Supreme Court. I think we're going to pass a law that's just going to make it codified. It's the law of the land, the spirit guides are saying. Yeah, this is the pressure. This is what they're talking about. It's not working. None of this is working. And we can't fix it. So it has to break apart and dissolve. It has to dissolve so that we can then decide how we want to fix it for the future. Okay, let's move on. Thank you for your question. Elizabeth Michaelis says, will the release of the Epstein documents in Florida by DeSantis implicate Trump clearly and damage his run for president? I do think it's another weight for him to bear. It's another heavy thing for him to bear. And he's just sinking under the weight of all the indictments and all of his losing of his popularity. He's sinking under the weight of that. Meanwhile, I'm just telling you what they're telling me. I know that I am nowhere near staying on any kind of track. But meanwhile, they're showing me Biden hitting it out of the park, like giving the student loans credit back, or, dismissing the student loans, just doing so many things, the economy, so many things. So when you juxtapose that next to a problematic guy who intimidates people, who makes fun of people, who is going to be worse than besmirched by this thing. See, that's such a good question. By DeSantis and the Epstein documents, he's going to have a black eye. This is not a besmirch. Besmirch means, just kind of like chastised to me. This is a black eye. This is a bad thing. But DeSantis is in this energy of burn it all down, because I'm not sure that he's going to redact anything. There's something about redacting. Either he is or he isn't, but it feels like this information could be bad for other people, not just Trump, including other countries' leaders. That's what I mean. Why burn it all down? DeSantis is like, I can't have it. No one else can either. Here's a flamethrower. I'm going to basically just take all of you guys out. And then the thing I was talking to them about was really good question is, well, it's the same question that I couldn't answer earlier. So what I saw was DeSantis thinking, if I take Trump out, if I take out Rubio or Gates or whoever, I don't even know, then I can walk right up to the podium and be get the nomination or whatever we have to do. Because if Trump is not going to get the nomination for whatever reason, how do we do that? Is it a write-in? I don't know. Because if it's a write-in, then DeSantis and Nikki Haley are going to throw their names right back in that thing. But I don't see them doing it. So I don't know why. I don't understand. I cannot understand. We just have to get there. I see how it ends, but I can't understand how we get there. So yeah, I think it is really going to hurt Trump. This is the guy who said, grab him by the, and also that he could shoot anybody on Fifth Avenue. I mean, really and truly, what can damage this man? I think his people are less enthusiastic about him, and this might be another nail in his coffin. But I think it should just take him out all the way, but I think it's going to just sink him more, if that makes sense. Maggie W said, now, if you guys haven't seen Lev Parnas, he was in the House, wasn't he? He was at a hearing, a judiciary hearing, a hearing of some kind. And the Democrats brought him in, which is brilliant. The Democrats are playing 5D chess. Lev Parnas said, he just basically talk about flamethrower. He said Pete Sessions can't handle the truth. He said that man right there, pointed at Pete Sessions and said, that man right there was involved with me with Russia. We're all like, tell us more as we eat our popcorn, And this is just the beginning. Lev Parnas proved that a lot of people were in on this way before anybody thought they were in on it. And he's ready to spill all the beans. I don't think he spilled even this much, not even 10%, 20% of the beans. He's got a lot more. I think he can't talk because of other cases going on. The spirit guides also want me to tell you, so they're wearing me out, is that right now you might think nothing's going on, or you think, okay, we have these 5 things going on against Trump, but 3 of them are just not doing well, like the Eileen Cannon case, the Fonnie Willis case, the Judge Chutkin case. All these things are just floundering. Well, what the guides just said, and with Lev Parnas, is that there could be 8 different grand juries happening right now in secret that we don't even know about, that are court cases that are going to, voila, be, announced. But all of this happens in secret. We don't know what's going on. I only got that information because I was talking to them about why Lev Parnas is only spilling 20% of the beans, because 80% is involved in all these cases that are going on right now that are in secret, because the grand jury meets in secret. So that means there's an entire amount of cases that are being held right now that Lev Parnas probably has something to do with, and he cannot speak to those things. And neither can anybody else. So I feel like all this is coming out in all of it. Do I want to say all of it? Or I can't tell if they're going to drip it out, but it sounds like big, huge batches of it that feel like all of it to me are going to be revealed starting in April, May, June, July, like every month. Every 6 weeks, we might be hearing about another grand jury that we had no idea had met, that we had no idea had impaneled, that we had no idea that people like Lev Parnas was in there being a witness. They're just saying this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip of the iceberg. This isn't all we have. This is the tip of the iceberg. Because remember, they're going to circle back and go for all those Congress people that had some, like Sessions or whoever allegedly, who had something to do with Jan 6. They're not going to get off. Jenny Thomas might get off, but these Congress people are not going to get off. They're not. They're going to be held accountable. But justice takes time. And we would want due diligence and fair justice for us. And we certainly would want it for any Democrat. So we really need to allow the correct things to happen to make sure that everybody has a fair trial. Because if they can prove they didn't have a fair trial, then they can go back and appeal it and get a better judge or get a crooked judge. And the whole thing is down the crapper, right? So we do need to be patient. Okay, the next question is from Singing Tree, who says, do we see Michael Cohen getting a pardon? And will he get his law license back? When I go into that, and I went into Biden's energy, and my stomach started roiling. Oh, the pit of my stomach is like roiling, like, oh, I don't want to. He doesn't want to do it. Biden does not want to do it. He does not want to do it. He feels pressure to do it. And I'm not saying somebody is pressuring him. I'm saying he feels like Michael Cohen he did his time. He came out and he's working for justice. And there's a part of Biden that loves the underdog and loves it when people turn themselves around. So there's a part of Biden that really does want to pardon him, but he can't. Like, my stomach is killing me. God, in the pit of my stomach is like, there's no amount of Tums, of Pepsid AC. There's no amount of nothing that can make this go away. I have my fingers in the pit of my stomach right now. That's how bad it is. I don't think he wants to do it. He feels like it's probably the best thing to do. I think that's why he's at odds. He feels like it's the best thing to do, but he can't do it. And he's trying to talk to himself and say, am I judgy? Is this my personal opinion? Am I not being neutral? Like, he's really struggling. This is the kind of thing he would call up his pastor over. Seriously, seriously. And then I don't see Cohen getting his law license back. I could be wrong. I don't see it. It's a one-way door, guys. It's a pretty, to me, it looks like that was a one-way door. But I do see Cohen. He's going to be okay. I mean, he needs to watch himself. I mean, I just looked at his life just for a minute there. I mean, when I said he's going to be okay, he has people out for him. There are people hunting him, okay? He needs to stay well. I can't 100% guarantee you and the other thing is, the last time I saw him on a video, he looks thin and wan. I mean, his color is bad. He's lost weight. He looks when a big guy, he's got a big bones. When a big guy loses weight, so he doesn't look good to me. I think it's stress. He's going to have to really watch himself, because the people that he's pissed off are Russian, and they have a long memory and a long arm. I'm just telling you, goes years. This is not 6 months. This is years. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure when he can ever not look over his shoulder. That's how scary these people are. And that's how they've intimidated Republicans to vote for them. Remember Mitt Romney telling that guy for his book, that was interviewing him for his book, he said after Jan 6, he said, I had to get extra security to the tune of $5,000 a day or $5,000 a week. I think it was $5,000 a day. Whatever it was insane. And he said, these people can't afford that. Meaning his fellow congressional members cannot afford this. He said, they can't afford this. I can. And even with that extra security, that guy stepped down. So you understand, this is the pressure. Back to the pressure. The pressure is making us do something about it. The pressure is being applied to do something about it. They talked about the judges being intimidated, witnesses, grand jury witnesses being intimidated, voting staff being intimidated, but also our Congress people being intimidated. We've got to stop that. We have to really assign maybe even a new wing of the, like the ATF. We might have to have a new group of security that really, 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 really watches these people. And when I say watch, what I saw was not only watch their back, but watch their bank accounts. Both ways. Make sure they're not profiting, but also make sure they're not being intimidated. Sanitize. The guy said sanitize. We're going to sanitize all of that. So hopefully that makes sense. I bet I've been talking for 2 hours. Okay, no, 1 hour and 3 minutes. That's awesome. Okay, let me do one or two. I'm using a different program to record this. You guys, I don't know. Some of you guys say my video quality is terrible. I watch things on my phone. I don't watch things on that big old TV in there. I don't know why y'all watching things on the big TV. Don't do it. Don't watch me on the big TV. And then your video quality be good. Okay, but I am using a different source. So hopefully that'll help. And it gives me a recording time. Holy moly, y'all. Tony, you got mafia in your family? Look at Tony's question. Did Trump, in advance of impending judgments and court cases, hide cash money, gold bars, jewelry, or anything else that could be of value, and stashed it in a vault or buried? Tony. I have seen this before. Yes, Tony. The guides have shown me since last year that it's a little bit like the royals, in the sense that the royals are using this interaction of the public the same way they did in 1980. You know what I mean? Like, they'll never know. The public will never know. This isn't, it's like, we know, But anyway, Trump is the same way. They use the same tactics that were used in the 30s, in the 40s, and the 50s. they do like to bury things. I don't know if that was a hit you had, a psychic hit you had, but yes, I have got that before. They like to bury things in the ground. Can you imagine Don Jr. out there trying to remember where the hell he buried that shit? Can you just imagine? I don't know where I buried it. I swear it was right here by this tree. And, Eric going, but there's a whole bunch of trees. How do you know which one it was? Can you just, it's a movie. Why don't we just mic up somebody and send them along? That's how they can pay their legal bills. Just record this stuff. Anyway, yes, I do think that they have things. It's a go bag. The guides just called it a go bag. I mean, you're not going to pick up a bunch of gold bars and run off with them. I think they're kind of heavy, but it is. It's meant to flee with. It's meant to use in a different country because money can be tracked. Dollar bills have a serial number on them, and money can be tracked. So I don't know how they're going to track it. I don't know. That's just what they're telling me. But yes, they do have this. They do. They have jewelry. They have, I don't even know if I want to be in this energy. I'm seeing things I don't think I should be seeing. I'm seeing looted jewelry from some estate, but it's looted. So for instance, if you were to get some jewelry or some artifacts from World War II or the Ottoman Empire or something, and you can't sell them on the open market because you're not supposed to have it, it's those types of things that would be worth a lot of money, and maybe even more so because they're black market items. They cannot be sold on the open market, and they're illegal, and therefore they're worth a lot more. That's what the guides are. I did not understand that, but that's what they're saying. So there's these jewelry. I'm seeing I'm seeing Fred Trump. That's who that is. Don't get close, dude. He's got bad breath. Y'all, I'm not kidding. For real. This is my life. This is my life. Okay. Yeah, Fred, I don't know what you did, dude, but he got some stuff, and it's looted. It's jewelry. It's like you would see like an opal this big, or a what's red? Ruby? A ruby, like precious jewels, I'm hearing, but they're like this big. So inches big. I don't know how much that would be worth, but it'd probably be worth a lot of money. And this is their last resort kind of thing. Like this is the last resort money. But and again, I'm half making fun of them, but half not making fun of them. And I have never watched Caddyshack, so I don't have any idea what they're talking about. But maybe it's a Caddyshack reference. But I do see somebody digging it up, like one of their minions who happens to know about it and goes, Trump is, like for real, like everybody gets the text, 45 is on the floor, unresponsive. And then what's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Because everybody's going to go to those little hidey holes and dig that stuff up because it is not accounted for. And therefore, whoever gets it first gets it. So if you're a groundskeeper, and maybe that's Caddyshack, if you're a groundskeeper and you happen to know where it is, and you're the smart one who put the coordinates in your phone instead of burying it by the oak tree, that so anyway, where Eric carved his name in it, I don't know which tree it was. You can't make this stuff up. Anyway, you cannot make this stuff up. Anyway, I feel like these people are going to dig this stuff up and run off with it. And then what's going to happen is the boys are going to be, accusing each other because they're not smart enough to think that the caddy, knew where it was buried. This was a movie, y'all. There's like several movies, and some of them are comedies. Not all of them are horror films. Some of them are comedies. Okay, last two questions. I'll probably do another video, but I'm telling you guys how much I love you guys. If you watch to the end, I'll just tell you it is like 70 degrees sunny. I should be in my yard right now. I had the day off. I should be in my yard. I bought plants. I'm going to go get in my yard. And tomorrow I'm going to an art festival. So I'm taking some time off, but I will do another video either Sunday or Monday. And Monday is the eclipse. Monday is the eclipse, the lunar eclipse. Just be chill. Okay. Two quick questions. Will Sherrod Brown win his Senate race in Ohio? Yes. I feel like in the middle of the race, like in the middle of the summer, he feels like he's spinning out, like he can't, like he has a lot of money coming in or a lot of something coming in and he's running really fast, but he can't get traction. Like I can't get traction. I'm going, but he's not going anywhere. Okay. So he might feel like he just can't get traction in the middle of the summer, but I feel like he pulls it off. I feel like he does. I feel like it ends up being handily won. I mean, I'll have to check back later, but right now I feel like he is going to win it. But in the summer, something happens and he's just feeling like he's not making the progress he thought he would. And then the other person you asked was Larry Hogan, representative when in the Senate race in Maryland, and that's both from Woodswitch. And Cindy Lee said she thinks David Trone will win, but she does like Hogan. So I guess it's Hogan versus Trone. Right now, I hear Hogan. I hear Hogan. That I could be wrong, but right now I hear Hogan. Wow. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for putting up with this mess today. The spirit guides decided they need to tell you a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't even ask. I can't stop them. It's not possible for me to stop them, honestly. So let me know what you thought in the comments. Take really, really good care of yourselves. Drink a lot of water. I think with this lunar thing, we should be drinking water. I think we should be grounding. I think that's kind of the thing right now. So think about grounding. That's maybe why they want me to go out and plant plants, because it's a very grounding thing for me to do. Take really, really good care of yourselves. If you're new here, thanks for joining and thanks for watching to the end. You get gold stars. Everybody gets gold stars. Hey, if you want some ice cream, go for it. I think lunar eclipse calories do not count. That's what I think. And I'm not an astrologer. And that was for entertainment purposes only. We'll see you again real soon. For entertainment purposes only.